So last night, I had a pretty amazing experience. Um, it was kind of a manifestation of the kind of dream reality that I focus on a lot in my spiritual development. Um, and it was a practice in the art of co-creation. Now, when we think about co-creation, a lot of times we don't really understand what that means. We don't understand that co-creation is something that can be beautiful, it can be fun. And that co-creation basically means that we are sharing an experience and we are all helping to create a vibration, an energetic field that we all are hanging out in. And so when you think about co-creating your reality with other people, what that means is that you are contributing on some level, whether it be energetic or actual. You are contributing to the way in which everyone is experiencing the moment. Especially when you're in an environment where there's a lot of tuned in people around who are sensitive enough to detect what it is that you're doing. So for me, on a day-to-day basis, I love to just approach people with a really positive attitude. Because no matter what, if I'm positive, if I'm grateful, if I've got a smile on my face, and it's genuine, it's coming from a real place, then that's gonna help to establish a really positive vibe. And people usually respond well to that. Now, I don't do that all the time, because sometimes when you walk into an environment, you can kind of tell that, like, maybe I should back off a little bit. I'll just kind of hide in the shadows, watch what's going on here energetically before I start to, assert my positive energy. But what happened last night was something that was so powerful that I can't get it off my mind. What basically happened is that Evan and I, my dear buddy Evan, who I live with, he and I had spent a day doing errands and basically getting some tasks done in town where we live. We live near Hilo. And so we had been in the flow. We had noticed some things that were going really well for us, and we were very grateful because basically things can either be a little bit of a struggle or they can just be fluid. So we were grateful for the fluidity. At a certain point, we kind of were done with our tasks. We didn't feel like we needed to rush on home. And so we went to get some kombucha. The kombucha was delicious at Conscious Culture Cafe, Big Island Booch. And but then we decided we wanted some kava. And so we decided that it would be fun to go over to the kava bar down the street. So we went down there, and one of our dear friends, Lily, was working behind the bar. So that was exciting. And there was this guy named Ramsey, who was this artist who was, I loved his outfit. He was wearing just overalls with one strap, and he had this like Ambrose E. Burnside, where it's just like mutton chops and a mustache overgrown. It was wonderful. I've done that look before, but not like this guy. This guy really nailed it. And he had a cool hat on. He was just a, great looking guy. And he was drawing, and he was kind of aware of how the energetic fields affect us. He was talking about how he doesn't like to be in environments where the beverage of choice is alcohol, because a lot of times that can be a really heavy energy, where people are, it's a depressant or a suppressant in a lot of ways. So it kind of lowers the vibrations, and it makes people behave in a certain kind of way. But kava is a root, and it's a drink that is made by hand processing this root. And basically drinking, the liquid form of this beautiful root that we have here in Hawaii. And it has a naturally calming effect. It's super relaxing. It's very chill, and you feel really good when you're drinking it, because all of a sudden you're like in the present moment, but in a way that makes you feel very, very like in your comfort zone, right? So I was talking to Ramsey, and he was explaining that, kava itself is a high vibrational drink, because you're drinking, the earth. You're drinking something rooty. They like to say get rooted. Like that's what it means to drink kavas, to get rooted. But he was telling us, he was like, guys, I promise you, if you stay here, some musicians are going to come, and there's going to be some jams happening, and the vibrations that you're already experiencing, it just gets higher and higher and higher. Just watch. And so we were like, yeah, sure, why not? We normally try to be home by sunset because that's when we like to go to sleep, but sometimes you got to listen to someone like Ramsey. And so we sat there and watched as some musicians started pouring in. And all of a sudden, music started happening. And after a while, the music just kind of pulled me in. And I just jumped up and just felt compelled to be a part of it. And this has happened to me a lot because I used to be a musician, still am, but I used to play live. And so I would go to shows and certain bands would just pull me in and I would just, be front row center, just jamming out, because I love to rock out. I love to just vibe out with these artists and just help facilitate their experience. So then I started vibing out, and next thing I know, there's already people up there, so I wasn't the first one. But then all of a sudden, I look behind me and it's packed all of a sudden. And then everyone's singing along and we're all singing these songs. The band was called Tangled Roots. They're unreal. You got to check them out. If you're interested in just high vibe, island vibe, spiritual music, you got to check it out. And so we were all singing along as though we knew the songs because that's how intuitive they were. And we were basically all tuned into the same vibration, and it just kept getting higher, and it just felt so good. And the whole night, I was just connecting with people on this profoundly deep level where I was so aware of their openness to my story and what I had to offer, and I felt open to them. And there was just this huge huge amount of love exchange. We became family in that moment. And then it hit me. I was oh, this is what Ramsey was talking about. This didn't have to happen like this. But we all chose to co-create this experience. We chose for this particular night, at this particular kava bar, in this particular city, on this particular island, we all chose to be there, be present with the experience, surrender to the positive potential of our moment. And as a result, we had the most epic time all together. And the thing is that this happens all over the world. This isn't just limited to places like Hilo. People are co-creating a positive experience everywhere. And if you allow yourself to surrender to that moment, if you allow yourself to be a vessel of the naturally positive energy that exists, the creative potential of every moment, if you allow it to flow through, then you will understand that love reigns in that scenario, and that all are welcome, all are equal, all are perfect, and it's an unforgettable experience. I'm so freaking blessed to be amongst people who are willing to go there together. And there's a music festival this weekend, so there's a lot of musicians on this island right now, but they're from all over the world. So I encourage you to seek those experiences, but at the same time, allow them to happen as they do. Don't flee from what might be a really positive experience. Sometimes we look at experiences and think, oh shoot, I'm not going to be able to fit into that, or that's just not where I'm at right now, and that's fine. But if you find yourself in the throngs of a potentially amazing experience, ask yourself if you think that you could be a positive agent towards a greater good, towards a more enjoyable experience for yourself and for the rest of the people around you. Now the ball's in y'all's court. You guys have fun out there. Thank you so much for watching. I love you.